Okay, now we're recording. Great. All right, welcome, McColly. We're going to cover today the differences between CoStar and LoopNet, and then cover how to add a listing in CoStar and LoopNet and why you'd want to do that. So LoopNet is, consider LoopNet like a marketing tool, right? It could be marketing all in one, marketing in a box, and that's CoStar signature ads. So those would be more geared towards owners who understand that their property needs a marketing budget. And also, we're going to give you all the tools you need to make it the most featured property in the market. And that means we're going to do all the media. So we're going to send out a professional architectural photographer to do photo shoots, drone shots, Matterports. We're going to, when someone goes to search that listing in LoopNet, so last month we had over 10 million unique visitors to LoopNet website that were directed there in some way, either by Google AdWords. We purchase 28,000 Google AdWords on a rolling basis. So when someone types in Schererville for lease, or someone types in Schererville investment property, or Schererville multifamily, or Griffith, Indiana retail property, or anything regarding commercial real estate, it directs them to LoopNet or one of our sister websites. You can try it on Google yourself and see what happens. When you type in a search term like that. So that's how we're directing people into our websites. And based on what's happening in the world right now, more people are searching online than ever before. As you know, like when people date, they go to Match.com or whatever site. When people buy a car, they're going to research that car online. When people buy a house, residential real estate, right? They're going to Zillow, they're going to Redfin, in a lot of cases. And then they're possibly saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Broker, can you show me this house I found on Zillow in some cases. So commercial real estate's not much different. It took us a little longer to get there, but I think so. We've already kind of gotten there, and we've noticed with using Google Analytics and a few other analytic tools that we have in house, which is like IP searching, where 85% of tenants and investors that bought a commercial property or leased a commercial space first search for that space online in some way. And so they clicked online, they put in some search terms, and they got to one of our websites most likely. And that's why, if you want your property to be seen by these 10 million people that are looking for property every month, you want to have your property on LoopNet to have it in front of that audience. So we have the audience, it's looking for property, and getting on LoopNet is getting in front of that audience. On the other hand, and that costs money as an upgrade to get on LoopNet. And the McColly real estate companies, they've invested in getting a LoopNet membership. And so if you did want to add properties to LoopNet, you'd have to get in touch with Monica or Jeff on that, and then they could discuss with you the ways that their office can kind of facilitate that upgrade to LoopNet, which is really what it is. It's an upgrade. So going back to the difference between CoStar and LoopNet. LoopNet is a marketing vehicle, a marketing engine. The signature ads I was talking about, which is marketing in a box, that's gold, platinum, and diamond. So those are higher levels than brokers' offices will commit to purchasing. So that's something that you'd have to kind of get your owner to agree to the budget on. And this just came out last week. We had a 4-hour company call with our CEO, and he said, we want to reward brokers for introducing us to your owner who's going to embrace a marketing budget on a property. And in doing so, we're going to give your owner a 20% discount on any of those signature ad packages, as a way of saying thank you to the broker and for introducing us to, making the connection to where we can, make a presentation to the owner and work together to get the marketing going on the property. And in the end, what it's going to do is it's going to highlight not only the brokerage, but also the broker. And you never know, like these leads come in and maybe they're not a fit for that property, but they're a fit for something else in the office, and they're knocking on the door, and we're going to facilitate the connection. So that's gold, platinum, and diamond. The ad package that you have is very similar to the one that like CBRE, JLL, Cushman and Wakefield purchase. It's silver ad, so it gets you on the platform. It doesn't provide, you know, the on-site architectural photo shoot or any of those other features, but it does get you in front of the audience, which is the first step. Okay, and so LoopNet, again, being the marketing platform, CoStar is the data. So it's I'd most closely relate it to the MLS of commercial real estate. So it's everything. It's all encompassing. It's 100% of the listings in the universe that are out there on both platforms. So it's everything, all the data behind it, analytics. There's many different tools on there. We're not going to go over all of them today, but just know that it's a subscriber-based platform, and you need a subscription to be on there. And the one nice thing about it, though, is you can have a free account, but you're not going to be able to do any of the searching or any of the analytical parts. But the one thing it does allow you to do is add a listing for free. So that's the main difference between CoStar and LoopNet. To put a listing on CoStar is free, but it's only seen by CoStar subscribers. So, and it's also the first step to getting onto LoopNet, because you have to have a listing in order to have the ability to possibly upgrade it to LoopNet. So the first step, and I'm going to share the screen right now, to adding a listing is putting it on CoStar. And the way you do it, and this is the document that I was mentioning in the beginning, which everyone will have access to. I think Monica is going to send it around after the meeting. I'm just going to zoom in on this a little bit if I can. Okay, maybe that's too much. Okay, now it's a step-by-step guide. And so what we're going to do is we're going to log into our account. So either one of these accounts, it all takes you to the same place. We're going to add a listing. We're going to select for sale or for lease, select the type of listing, and then we're going to kind of go through that right now. So I'm just going to flip off of this and go to CoStar. Okay. Now, once you log in, it's the same as logging into any website where it's going to ask you for your information. Whether it be CoStar or LoopNet, you choose to log in, it's really all the same because it takes you to the same place. So I'm going to click on Marketing Center, and this is where we go. Of course, my internet seems to be a bit slow now. Try and refresh this. So any questions so far on the difference between CoStar and LoopNet?
And I don't think so. I just want to mention, so as you're mentioning the analytics for CoStar, so those analytics are similar to like a residential CMA, but for commercial CMAs, for lack of a better word, you would do that through CoStar, and that's an additional license. So that's what you meant by that, correct?
Yep, absolutely. Yep, doing comps is what we would call it, like doing a comp report for your property, also doing like lease comps, searching for tenants. So if you have a space for lease, you can search for tenants, within a radius of the area, and see when they sign their leases. Those are a few things you can do. Also, there's a whole lease analysis section as well, where you can put together what a lease would look like over like a 5-year or 10-year term. You can see all the different cash flows either on the tenant or the owner side, and you can flip back and forth from those. So those are a few other things. Also, you'd have access to public record. That's something you can find in individual county websites, but it's all compiled here in one place, so you don't have to kind of go back and forth. That's
So that's
another way.
where, if I could interject, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Jeff Bennett has access to those reports if you refer a listing to the McColly Bennett Commercial Advantage team. And then I have a license as well. So just wanted to add that.
perfect. Now my internet's not really working here, so I'm not sure what we're going to do as far as getting into Marketing Center. Let's see if we can just refresh it one more time. I think I might have too many windows open, but I don't really think that's the. I think my wife's on a Zoom call upstairs. Let me try this one more time.
Ben, while you're doing that, can I ask Jeff Bennett to just kind of hop in, and Jeff, if you want to highlight the benefits of actually referring to the McColly Bennett Commercial Advantage team outside of CoStar, obviously your sphere is much more broad than just CoStar. So not to put you on the spot, but I thought maybe it might be a good time to plug your division.
Sure. Are you seeing me, Monica?
Yes. Yep. We're good.
Well, we believe, LoopNet is certainly a big part of the toolbox for marketing commercial properties. So, anytime there's a referral, we're plugged into CoStar where we can do some analytics and some CMA work within specific territories in Northwest Indiana and the Chicago Southland, as well as Kankakee County. And then LoopNet, we put our listings on LoopNet. We find that that's the premier place for prospects looking. I think Bill Rathjen's on the call, and we were talking in the last 5 days. I think he's had 7 or 8 legitimate inquiries on a trailer park that he's marketing, and LoopNet has been a spot where there's been good interest. And then, of course, Monica, with the commercial division, we've put together a full-fledged marketing program where, signage is something that you help us with, and we've got branded signage that we put up. The McColly corporate assists us in membership with the Northwest Indiana Forum, the Kankakee County Economic Development Alliance, the Will County Economic Development Alliance. So I think the Portage Redevelopment Corporation, so that, I think what we believe from the commercial perspective, we've got, a marketing program, and LoopNet and CoStar is certainly a cornerstone, and we add to that. And then I think also, and we've worked with most everybody on the call today, and I think there's just that commercial experience, no different than those in the residential business laugh at me because I haven't sold a house. The language is different. I think we'd like to think that we can also assist in the the negotiations and the deal making that goes along with commercial real estate.
Plus, there's other tools you have as far as Eagle View, where you can have the traffic counts and aerial views and things of that sort too, which I don't have access to. I don't provide the residential agents, but there's a lot more that the MBCA can offer. So,
yep. Thank you for that intro.
And Monica, you can get demographics and traffic counts straight from CoStar as well. Those are other analytical tools that are at your access. The view, you can get, like, if you're gonna, I'm not sure if Eagle View is this exactly where if you show like a property from like a bird's eye view, and then you can pinpoint like retail properties that are kind of like surrounding it. I'm not sure if that's that, but you can also do that with CoStar as well.
okay.
All right, and my marketing center is not loading up. I don't know if you want to share.
Sure.
Yeah, if you want to share your screen, maybe that would be better. Here, let me see if I can.
Let me get it ramped up here. 1 second, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Ty.
So I'm just doing the 2-step and then I'll be able to share my screen.
Cool.
Okay, can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, Marketing Center, I take it is where you want to go, right, Ben?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Yep. So this is Marketing Center. Here, you know, if she scrolls down, if you can scroll down a little bit, you're going to see all your listings that you have. You know, this first one, Lincoln Highway, we have, and you can see actually in the middle here where it says days since last update. One thing that's a best practice is you want to keep your listings updated. The value that we provide is having updated listings on CoStar and LoopNet. You know, if you click on something and it's not even on the market or something's incorrect, then the value is less than it would be if the listing is complete and it has been updated. So if you when you do get listings on, please do try and keep them updated. It also lifts you higher in the search results to have an updated listing. If you don't update your listing in 30 days, usually what will happen is, and this might have already happened to some of you in the call, is one of our research team members will be calling you and they're going to ask you over the phone, is your listing updated? And if for whatever reason they can't reach you via phone call or email within 75 days, then your listing is literally just going to get dropped automatically at that point, because we don't want to have stale stuff on there that it isn't actually valid. So, but before that happens, they're going to be trying to reach out to you probably 10 different times, because they're very persistent in what they do, and they're good at getting a hold of people usually. So that's one thing.
Ben, I think that's a great point you mentioned, because the number days since last update changes color. So if you're in the green is good, obviously, right? Red means you kind of got to watch it. You need to update it. And everyone, please remember, this does not sync with the MLS. So that's why you manually added this listing. If there was a price adjustment, it went pending, status change, that's why you need to go into the edit listing and update it. Otherwise, if there are no changes, you still have to click on the confirm up to date. So again, CoStar knows that that is current information.
Yep. And it's as simple as literally clicking on that green button right there, if nothing's changed, and then that's you're up to date. The next section here where it says marketing quality, want to improve, that's the data in your listing. So if you have a listing up that doesn't have a lot of information in it, like you don't even have a description, you don't have a offering memorandum, you don't have the tax information there, you don't have the square footage, or no, maybe not the square footage, but because that'll be automatically pulled in, but you don't have some sort of a price or anything like that, that's going to lower your marketing quality. So you can see a difference here between these two listings, one on top of another here. The one up above, the portfolio 3 assets, it's lacking some of that information. The one below is excellent. So that means it's got all the info in there. It's going to appear higher in the results. So improving the marketing quality is one way to get your listing elevated in the results. And that's, I would suggest, to kind of try and strive for the excellent level. And Monica, if you could scroll back up to the top. We have, so somebody who's going to help you do this, like if you just say to yourself, I've got no idea what I'm doing here. Sarah Templeton over here on the top right, she's the client relationship consultant for all of McColly. she's going to help you. Or, you know, and occasionally this person may change. I'm not saying Sarah's leaving the company anytime soon. Of course she's not. She's been here a few years now, and I'm sure she's very happy and going to be here for a long time. But just in case, sometimes these things do change, but you're always going to go here and know who the person is. And she's available by phone or by email if you click on her name, and you can ask her, hey, how do I improve the marketing quality of this listing? Or how do I add a listing if for whatever reason you're having trouble doing it? Or how do I add video? How do I add these pictures? How do I, change the square footage of a property? Something's not correct. You guys have the wrong square footage, or you know something's out of date. Sarah's the person who can help you with all that stuff. So she's right there.
Great, very patient.
Mm-hmm.
Great follow-up. Very good.
Perfect. Appreciate the feedback there. And then very simply, the top right corner says add a listing. You click on that if you want to add a listing. And then it's going to ask you, is it for sale or for lease? And then let's just say it's for sale. Go down that path for a minute. And let's just say, okay, it's a building. Now you put in the address. Try, unless you have an address, I got one here if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay, 5932.
Ski place.
West space W space Lawrence. Okay, so look here, it's already populated in. So whenever something populates in, you just want to click it. All right, this is a building my wife and I own that we bought a couple of years ago in Chicago. So, okay, so now is this your property? Yes. And so what it's doing is it already has all the information on the property. We've already got pictures on file. It's pulling all that information in. And now you're just going to go through and you're going to put the info in here. You can see that.
So Ben, real quick,
Yeah.
How does it have the photos already? Is it pulling from public record or?
So this one, I believe, is pulling from public record. These photos that were here, they were on a listing previously, or it was our photographer that drove by. Part of our architectural photography initiative is really getting photos of every property that's on our database and updating those photos periodically. It does happen automatically if you did get a gold, platinum, or diamond listing, that the photographer comes out and then there are photos and you see the watermark on the bottom right. But generally, I think for the larger properties and the more higher end, especially office or higher end retail properties in the market, we're sending our guys out to take those photos, or guys and gals out to take those photos. So yeah, that's the way the photos get in there generally. And then also the other way is, like, if you have a silver listing and you have your own photos and you add them, now those photos are in there and they kind of live in the site. But some of the photos that are old, you don't want those on your listing. Like, because if you look at the photos on this, actually click on the photos button. Look at this property looked like before it had the brick facade redone. The photo number 2, like, you don't want that photo on your listing because that was what it used to look like before they reface the building. So, when you're in the add a listing process, you can then you then decide which photos you want to show on your listing, as opposed to showing all these old photos that don't kind of make any sense anymore. But we want to kind of keep those as a record of history of what's happened at that property, and those will be kept within CoStar, but they're not going to be on your listing per se. All right, and so
red asterisks obviously are required fields, Ben.
Say again now.
Red asterisks.
Yep. Yep. And you see this listing completeness bar on the right side. That's what we want to try and get to excellent. So as we're going through and putting in these different fields, we can say you're built 1952. It was renovated in 2016. So you're adding information. You're putting in a description. When you start doing that stuff, the listing completeness bar. So yeah, you can put in just say renovated 2016. Okay, and then we can scroll down a little bit further. Let's see if we had information. Okay, this is interesting here. So this is brand new, by the way. And this is super, super cool. That this is the first time I'm actually seeing this. So this is really neat. So we actually have an area here where you can have secure information and you can control the access to it. So if you're concerned with, and this would be for like an offering memorandum or like an NDA, confidentiality agreement. So what we can do is you can say everyone means there's not going to be any security on this document. Registration, if you click on registration, that means users must register their contact information, and then that'll be shared as a lead. So if you add a document, so let's just say I dropped in an offering memorandum. So you just literally drag it in and drop it on the section below, or you could click on the Manage Documents button and download it that way. But you could just drag and drop an OM in here, or even just like a one-pager, just to have something in there, because what it does is it's going to just show up with a lock over it, and it's going to ask people when they click in, you have to register to see this document. The next step you could actually take it to would be the confidentiality agreement is the next click. So what that does then, you can view it, click on the view. This is our own confidentiality agreement that CoStar came up with. And this is just getting people, this is basically like an NDA. Like, you know, for whatever reason, maybe it's a restaurant that doesn't want to let people know that they're for sale, or there's some other reason behind, you know, there's a business at the property and they don't, you know, you don't want to let any people know without them signing an NDA that the property is for sale. So there could be one of many reasons you'd want them to sign this, but it's basically like a CoStar agreement that they'll just check a box and sign. And in doing so, what that does is it gives you a lead, because if someone's taking the time to, first of all, go in and register, click on your listing, and then register for the information that you have hidden in a lockbox, then maybe they're kind of interested in the property, and it's worth a phone call to them. So this this section here is really a cool new section to gather information from people. So I just want to kind of go over that really quickly, and it's great to see that this is kind of seamless in the program. So yep, you can drop your OM in there, or you could or you can have them sign the NDA. And so then you just go through and you could add features about the property. You could add a link to the URL here. You just kind of go through. Here's the primary contact. So you know, you could edit your profile here as well. You could add a photo. You could add an admin if there's somebody else, like a secondary broker or agent on the listing with you. So you can have another contact. So this is, you know, add, and then there's also the add another contact from your firm button over here on the right. And what that'll do, you could put the person's name in there. You could just start typing in I don't know, type in anybody, and then it's going to pull them in. See, there you go. It's already got her information right there. You can add her that easily to where now you've got that. Yep. And we're going to cancel this afterwards. So
Okay.
As much as I want Sue on my listing, because it would sell within a month, I'm sure. And you can change the order too. If it's Sue on top and Monica on the bottom, I think on the right, you're able to, yep, boom. Now she's the primary. Okay, and then we can, I think, there's a few things that's missing. So on the far right, it's saying we're missing a sale type, price, and cap rate. I think if you click on those, it's going to take you to that section, or you can just scroll up. Yep. So sale details. What is it? All right, it's an investment property, let's just say. Okay, we just went up to 50%. Okay, the price, let's just say I want $375,000 for it. Yep, and the cap rate, I did the math, and it's an 8 cap. Net operating income is $37,500. Okay, and then sale conditions, I would say if any of these make sense, you could add this. I would say it is a I don't say any of those do make that much sense on this one, so I'm just going to kind of, you could say build the suit maybe. I don't know, we're just kind of adding stuff in. And then on sale notes, you could say, great property, fully leased, income statement available upon request. Okay, cool. And then click away from there. And now look, I'm already at 85% completeness. I'm doing really well. Of course, if I added a brochure or some other document, that could get me up to 100%. If I did want to put a commission here, I'll say 2% or 2.5%. And then procurement fee, sure. And then listing, okay, say a 1% procurement fee. And then listing expiration date, let's just say we're gonna just do this. Yeah, we're gonna leave it on there for a year. Let's just say for now. That's kind of standard, is the 1 year time. And this stuff is not published as it says below there. So anyway, we got it to 85%. It looks like the one thing that's missing is a sale attachment. So some sort of a document I think it's looking for. So, that would be like a, like offering memorandum or just some sort of document to put in there, and that would get me to 100%. So anyway, we got to 85% pretty quickly. That's the general way to add a listing, and you saw it's fairly easy because all the information populates in from CoStar. And there could be a situation where you did start entering an address and the address isn't in CoStar. So that's another reason. If you scroll to the top one more time, Monica. And then let's go back to my listings, the top left, back to my listings. And we're just going to say leave and delete because we were just practicing. If we did go to add a listing one more time, top right, please. And let's just say for sale, and we just say building. And let's just say, let's put a fictitious address in there. Okay, I thought it was going to prompt something, but I guess it doesn't. So if the address, let's just say we're looking for something here, we're not finding it. That's when we go back, and then we're gonna click on Sarah's name and email address right there. It's probably just opened up an email for your Outlook, maybe. Yeah. And then you're gonna send her a message and go, Sarah, I tried to add a listing. It wasn't in CoStar. Can you help me, please? What do I do? And then she's going to get back to you and say, okay. And you're going to have the address in the subject line or whatever, and she's going to go and add the address in. And we're going to put the property in CoStar for you, get all the details, and then take it from there. So that's the step if the property happens not to be in CoStar. Okay, now, your listing is up, and how do you see your leads? Well, they're going to get emailed to you, but also in the marketing tools, you can then see, you can go to the leads button and see what leads you have. You can do an email blast campaign. If you're at the silver level, that can be done once a month. That's a blast to other brokers. And there's also like a create flyer. You can also see your listing performance. So if you want to, the listing performance is a really good way to see who's clicking on your listing and what activity you're getting on this property. And on this one, you can see that on July 20th, approximately, it got upgraded to silver. And since that happened, look how the number of views shot up. So it's getting a ton more eyes on it because it was upgraded to LoopNet. I mean, and it's we have the ability to track all this in our systems, and you can see the difference of having it on LoopNet versus not. And as you scroll down, you can also see how many times it's been seen, how much time people have spent on the page, and who are these people that are looking. If you scroll a little bit lower, and how many times have they been there? Did they come back? I mean, it looks like IBM's checking it out. I mean, some of these you're not going to be able to call, but some of these may be small enough where you can kind of figure out who's looking and maybe make an outbound call to them because they've been on the page a few times. Obviously, you're not probably going to find the contact at IBM, but if it was a smaller like law firm or maybe one of these other smaller operations here, it wouldn't be hard to find who the person at the other end was.
Very cool.
Nice. Great. And then, any questions moving forward, feel free to reach out to myself, Monica, or Sarah Templeton, who will be on the top right of the marketing center.
And did you see anything in the chat box for questions or anything? Or
let me see here. Check the chat. Just if it had been recorded, and yes, it was.
okay, very good.
All right, everyone.
No questions or anything. Just in case you're interested, we do have on the residential side, the contract that I signed. If you're interested in doing a LoopNet listing, it is $38 per month per listing. So as Ben said, you could reach out to me, or again, first and always, you'd want to refer to the McColly Bennett Commercial Advantage team. But otherwise, you have another option. The reason why I put that out there is because of the fact on your McColly agent websites, which are done by MoxieWorks, commercial listings don't display on those websites. So I wanted to provide another forum for you to market those listings. Okay?
Yep, and it's a huge benefit too. To get that listing outside of McColly would cost you $79 a month, or even possibly $118 a month, depending on which term you selected. So, getting it for less than half of what it would cost if you did it yourself, big time benefit.
Jeff, did you want to add anything, or at that we'll wrap it up, I guess, right? Jeff's on mute. I think we're good. Going once, going twice.
Sorry, I was having trouble getting unmuted. Thank you, Monica. I think it was, useful for a couple of us on the commercial team as well to sit through this. And, we certainly are a big advocate of LoopNet and CoStar.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.
Ben, if you send me the link, I'll put it up on our McColly YouTube training channel for everyone to see. So thanks a lot, Ben.
You got it. Sounds perfect. Take care, everybody.
You too. Oh, hang on one second. There's a question. I know you mentioned pricing, but send us an email regarding pricing and what McColly pays for. Okay, very good. That's my that's my roadhouse. Okay. Thank you, Ben.
Yep. Everyone
Have a
take
great
care.
day, everyone.
Bye-bye. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.